Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest 2022 NFL preview video. Today, I'm going to break down the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, before I get started, if this is your first time here and you like football, hit that subscribe button. Join the growing community of football junkies and fans of all 32 fan bases. Now, if you're watching this show on the premiere, if you're watching this Friday afternoon, you're in for a special treat because I go live tonight, 7 p.m. Every Friday, I go live. I answer all your questions. Anything goes on the live stream. I answer everything live. It's going to be a great show. Make sure you go ahead and join. Now, here's how my preview videos work. I'm going to give you 3 things I like about the Kansas City Chiefs. Then I'm going to give you 3 things I don't like. Then I'm going to go over the schedule, break down the yearly win total odds, and at the very end, I'm going to reveal I am going to put action down on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let's kick this off. 3 things I like about the Kansas City Chiefs. The first one is kind of obvious, but it's the head coach quarterback duo of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Both ESPN and I believe CBS Sports had a top 10 head coach quarterback combo, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes was number 1 on both lists. Now, you may not think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. You may have doubts about Andy Reid, but these two together are easily the best duo in the National Football League. In Patrick Mahomes, you see the throws, you see the highlight reel passes. What you don't see is everything above the neck. Patrick Mahomes has a near photographic memory, the way he conducts himself on the sidelines, his work ethic in the practice field and in the classroom. He takes meticulous notes and really doesn't get the credit he deserves for his work in understanding NFL defenses, which is really an elite level considering how young he is. And then in Andy Reid, the future Hall of Fame coach, is one of the best offensive minds in the history of the game. Basically, you take the Hall of Fame coach with the unbelievably talented Mahomes, and it's a match made in heaven. Or hell, if you're a defensive coordinator. Now, the second thing I like about the Kansas City Chiefs is their offensive line. After the 2020 Super Bowl loss, the Chiefs' offensive line underwent a massive transformation. First, they signed a Joe Thurney to a 5-year, $80 million deal. Then they trade a first, a third, and a fourth. Now they got a second in return for Orlando Brown Jr. Then they use a second and a 6th round pick on starters. They drafted center Reid Humphrey and guard Trey Smith. Now with Trey Smith, he was a 6th round pick because he had this very unusual medical condition that prevented him from practicing in college, but he was cleared and was going to be able to be a full participant in practice entering the draft. But he was taken off because of this unusual medical condition. He was taken off a lot of teams' draft board. The Chiefs went ahead and drafted him. He would have been a first-round pick if it wasn't for this medical issue, so definitely a diamond in the rough. Orlando Brown was named to the Pro Bowl, while the interior 3 were all Pro Bowl alternates. Bottom line, there's no limit to how good this offensive line could be. And Reid Humphrey and Trey Smith, they were just rookies. If these two show any level of improvement, this could be the best offensive line in football. I think entering the 2022 season, it's easily a top 10, maybe even a top 5 offensive line. But keep in mind, these two rookies were Pro Bowl alternates. And if they show any level of improvement at all, this could be the best offensive line in football. The third thing I like about the Kansas City Chiefs is their front 7 looks a lot faster. Last year, the Chiefs signed defensive tackle Jarran Reed to a 1-year, $8 million deal. And in order to get your best front 4 defensive linemen on the field, they took Chris Jones, moved them to defensive end, and this didn't really work at all. What happened is around mid-season, the Chiefs traded a 6th round pick to Pittsburgh for Melvin Ingram. They moved Jones back inside, and the defense for a while looked really, really good. Now, it did kind of fade in the playoffs, so what they did this offseason is they weren't able to re-sign Melvin Ingram, but they did sign Carlos Dunlap and used the 1st round pick on George Kalifdis. And this front 4 looks a lot faster early on because Chris Jones and Frank Clark look a lot look slimmer and faster, but Kalifdis in his first 2 preseason games. I'm doing this video right before the Chiefs' 3rd preseason game. Has had 2 sacks in 2 preseason games. But what makes this defense a lot faster is their 2 linebackers. Last year's 2nd-round pick, Nick Bolton, ended up leading the team in tackles with 112, even though he wasn't a day 1 starter. And then Willie Gay takes over as the other linebacker. Now, I'm calling this a front 7, even though the Chiefs do play in a lot of nickel. But these 2 starting linebackers are 3-down linebackers with just speed to burn. This is the fastest front 7 the Chiefs have had in the last 5 years. The fastest defense since Steve Spagnuolo's been here at least. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the best front 7 the Chiefs have had, but it's definitely the fastest front 7 the Chiefs have had in the last 5 years. So just to recap the 3 things I like about the Kansas City Chiefs, the Mahomes Reid combo, the offensive line, and added speed to the front 7. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Kansas City Chiefs. First thing I don't like about the Kansas City Chiefs is losing 2 future Hall of Famers in Tyreek Hill and Tyrann Mathieu. Now, Tyreek Hill last year overtook Travis Kelce as the number 1 option that Patrick Mahomes went to. He led the Chiefs in targets, receptions, yards. Now, him and Travis Kelce tied with 9 touchdowns, but the thing is with Tyreek Hill, he's only played 6 years in the NFL. If he retired today, he would not enter the Hall of Fame, but I firmly believe that if he stayed in Kansas City, he would enter Canton. Now since he's in Miami, you have a different coach, a different quarterback, a completely different situation with different results. I've seen lots of players have, in the beginning, what looks like a Hall of Fame career. They go to another team. They don't have the same results, don't end up in Canton. So he'll have to continue the greatness they showed in Kansas City. Now, on the other hand, the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, I 100% believe makes the Hall of Fame. Now, I think Tyrann Mathieu could retire today and end up in Canton. Probably not first ballot Hall of Famer, but he would end up in Canton. He's been in the NFL nine years, won a Super Bowl, multiple awards. Now, because he signed with the Saints, I think he's going to play very well. And I think for the next couple of years, he's going to be a really, really good player. And when everything's done, I 100% believe that Tyrann Mathieu is a lock for the Hall of Fame. With Tyreek Hill, his first 6 years looked like he was Canton bound, but we have to see what he can do in Miami. And losing Tyrann Mathieu is only part of the second thing I don't like about the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is they lost a lot in the secondary. Not only did the Chiefs lose Tyrann Mathieu, they also lost Chardavius Ward, Daniel Sorensen, and Mike Hughes. Last year, the Chiefs had 15 interceptions, and 9 of those interceptions are from players that are on other NFL rosters this year. Now, the Chiefs drafted 4 defensive backs and signed Deion Bush and Justin Reid in free agency, but ultimately it's going to be an adjustment period. I mean, you're bringing in a bunch of new players, plus you're losing a future Hall of Famer. And the problem is the Chiefs face some really good quarterbacks early in the season. So it is going to be an adjustment period. It may cause some problems early in the season, but I firmly believe the Chiefs will get it ironed out towards playoff time. And the third thing I don't like about the Kansas City Chiefs is the massive target placed on them. I've never seen an NFL offseason where 3 division rivals make as many big-time moves as I've seen in the AFC West. You got trades for 3 potential Hall of Famers here in Russell Wilson, Devontae Adams, and Khalil Mack. And then the Chargers also signed J.C. Jackson in free agency to big-time money. But that's not even all of it. Go to any betting website, and the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl is the Buffalo Bills, who've been knocked off the previous 2 years in the playoffs by the Kansas City Chiefs. It's no coincidence that the Bills signed Von Miller, formerly of the Denver Broncos, to a big-time contract because they're targeting Kansas City as well as these other 3 division rivals. Now, the Chiefs have won 6 straight AFC West titles and have hosted the last 4 AFC championship games. So it's no surprise that they have a big target on their back, but I've never seen a team have a target so directed or so focused on them. I mean, why didn't the AFC East do this when Brady was in New England? But it is a big target, and bottom line, the Chiefs are going to get an A+ game against every opponent this year. So just to recap the three things I don't like about the Kansas City Chiefs, you lose two future Hall of Famers, massive losses in the secondary, and a giant focused target on their back. Now I'm going to go over the schedule, reveal the yearly win total odds, and then I'm going to let you know if I'm putting action down on the Chiefs. Now this schedule is really tough. They open the season on the road, but Andy Reid is 8-1 in season openers as the Kansas City head coach. So despite a tough opponent, I really do expect a win. Then they play Thursday night football at home against the Chargers. Now, week 2, the Colts travel to Jacksonville for a Sunday game, so the Chiefs will get some extra rest before they travel to Indianapolis, which is a big advantage. Now, personally, I'm expecting a 3-0 start, but you have really tough games week 4 at Tampa Bay and at 6, and then week 6 hosting Buffalo. Keep in mind the Chiefs play Monday night week 5, so one fewer day rest. Now, personally, I'm predicting a 5-2 record going into the bye. But Andy Reid after a bye is as close to a lock as you can get. I would be shocked if they didn't win the next 2 games at home. But this 4-game stretch where 3 out of 4 games are on the road, Kansas City could go 2-2 here, then finishing weeks 15 through 17. I would be really surprised if they didn't win those 3 games before you end the season at Vegas. Now, last year I bet on Kansas City over 12.5 wins, and I got burned as they went 12-5. This year that number is 10.5. And last year I bet on the Chiefs to win the AFC West. I got a terrible number. I believe it was negative 275. Barstool has plus 170. Caesars has plus 175. Last year, you would have to wager $275 to win 100. I believe it was negative 275. This year, you wager $100 to win 170 at Barstool, wager $100 to win 175 at Caesars, and that's to win the AFC West. Now, I'm putting action on over 10.5 wins and for the Chiefs to win the AFC West. Now, over 10.5, that's a very good bet. Now, keep in mind, I am a Chiefs fan, but I could see the Chiefs going 14-3, and that includes a home loss to Buffalo. So I strongly suggest you take advantage of this and put action on Kansas City over 10.5. I'm putting a little bit of action on winning the AFC West as well, but that's debatable. For you, it's what I am doing though. Now, if you're watching this on Friday, join me live. I go live tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's talk Chiefs or any NFL team. Basically, anything goes on the live stream. I talk all 32 teams. You have a question, I have an answer. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. What are you thinking here? Like the video, give me a thumbs up, and ring the bell. That way you're notified every time I come out with a new video. Look forward to seeing you later tonight.